Today on Animal Outtakes,
what are the different types of animals that you are preparing menus here for?
Everything from aardvarks to zebras.
We're taking a lunch break with the residents at Busch Gardens. How the animal care staff makes sure each and every one of these animals are well fed and happy.
Stay tuned to see what goes into preparing lunch for 12,000 animals that call Busch Gardens home. Hello and welcome back to Animal Outtakes. Today, we're at Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida, learning all about animal nutrition. The park is home to more than 12,000 animals, from birds and reptiles to giraffes and elephants. As you can imagine, it takes a lot of work to keep these animals well fed and healthy on a daily basis. Join us as we go from prep to palate at Busch Gardens.
Visitors at Busch Gardens Tampa may come for the rides, or perhaps the entertainment. But the animals you find in between are just as thrilling. Thousands of animals call Busch Gardens home, and all of them have to eat.
We also have frozen anoles.
Nutritionist Heidi Bissell is tasked with making sure those meals are top-notch.
Heidi, we're in your kitchen.
Yeah, welcome.
And this kitchen is going to feed about 3,000 animals, you told me.
Every day.
Every day. So that's quite a menu, I would say.
It is.
Those diets are mapped out on menu cards, and the diets vary from day to day.
We serve, all of our food comes right off the same truck that serves our human food, so it's top grade human quality. We don't do any seconds or anything. Every animal has an individual diet that every item is weighed out, and it might vary from day to day. So different animals will get different things, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that they have that variety and interest in their diet.
Well, this is the mongoose lemur.
Yes.
So they're going to get banana, honeydew, grape, papaya, mango, cantaloupe.
Almost.
Not so bad.
But today's Tuesday, so they're only going to get some of those things on Tuesday. They'll get different things on different days of the week.
How long does this take to prepare for 3,000 animals?
Well, we usually have 4 or 5 people here every day. They come in at 6 a.m. and they work all day chopping and preparing all the different foods that we feed our animals.
The Busch Gardens chefs follow the directions on the menu cards, measuring and weighing out the food for each individual animal.
So she's got lettuce here. She's got a salad here of chopped greens. So she's making a diet right now for a pheasant.
Do you make this yourself here?
We make this ourselves every day, fresh. It gets chopped and then divided out into all the diets of the animals that eat that. So what Kathleen's doing right now is she's putting all the different diet ingredients into a bag. So here's that pheasant diet that she just made, and you'll see it has a pelleted mix, like a grain mix for chickens and poultry, stuff like that. And then there's some chopped vegetables here, some frozen mix, some peas and carrots and corn. Also some chopped greens and some worms, because we know how much pheasants
alive.
like worms. They're alive. They're alive and wiggling.
Really?
We like them alive. Shows they're
Really?
healthy. Yep.
I'll be. We were doing good until we got to the worms,
Oh, there's going to be a lot more worms today.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this is packaged then.
This is packaged.
So this is for one.
This is for one pheasant, yes.
One pheasant. Does he get fed or she get fed once a day or twice a day?
So what happens is that we send it out, we put it in a bucket, and that bucket goes out to that area, and then the zookeepers in that area will choose how to feed it out. So they may give this all at once, or they may do several meals throughout the day. That's up to them. We send a whole day's worth of food at a time.
That full day's meal includes a few tasty treats as well.
We try and make sure that the diet includes everything that they need for treats and training and all those different kinds of enrichment foods. So we try and provide all of that. So in this case, I am going to say that the pheasant's favorite food is probably these worms and maybe these corn kernels. So the keepers might use that for some sort of training or to call them over, things like that.
In order to house all the fruits, vegetables, and other tasty morsels for these animals, these zoo chefs need a pretty large storage space, the cooler.
So, welcome to our cooler.
Yes. Oh, Heidi, this is a treasure trove.
Isn't it?
Ooh,
So,
is it
it's
cold,
cold
in here?
And this
Yes.
is just the refrigerator. We're going to go into the freezer next, and it's really cold in there. So, all of these walls here is all of the food you just saw Kathleen using to prepare diets. So we've got vegetables and fruits.
Now these deliveries come in the morning,
Yep.
early in the morning. How many deliveries do you get in a week?
We do deliveries twice a week. We inspect everything as it comes in to make sure it's the top quality and that there's no spots on it or anything. We want our animals to have the best food
Sure.
possible, so we make sure that it comes in and it's safe and ready to eat.
There are more than 12,000 birds, mammals, reptiles, and other creatures and critters representing 300 species they call Busch Gardens home. Every year, these animals consume 1.4 million pounds of food. That averages out to about 4,000 pounds every single day. And the Busch Gardens nutrition team modifies more than half of those diets every month to make sure that each and every individual animal is getting the nutrition he or she needs. Still ahead on Animal Outtakes,
So who is the first one that we're going to make dinner for?
we're heading into the kitchen to find out how the zoo chefs at Busch Gardens tailor diets to each individual animal.
Now, at the end of the day, the nutrient composition of these are going to be very similar, but we got there by two different ways.
Plus why critters like Oli the armadillo have to do a little digging to get their next meal.
For thousands of years, we've been humans' best friend. You've been through a lot, and we've been right there with you. A dog is part of the family, a confidant, and a friend who always knows how to get into your heart. So what happens to our beloved companions when we can no longer care for them? This is why we've created Dante's Den, an innovative, state-of-the-art facility that will provide care for up to 100 dogs.
Dante's Den is a community for joyful dogs.
Millions of Americans face uncertainty when planning for the future of beloved pets who may well outlive them. Dante's Den is a charitable organization, so in whatever capacity you can, please lend your support so that we may continue this most wonderful work.
Dante and I would like to thank you for watching and for also opening up your hearts to our wonderful community of joyful dogs.
Learn about the many ways you could become involved by visiting dantesden.org.
With more than 12,000 animals calling the park home, Busch Gardens in Tampa has quite a job in making sure each animal gets the proper food and nutrients to stay healthy. That's where their nutrition kitchen comes in. Let's take a look behind the scenes.
Here at the Animal Care Center kitchen, park visitors get to learn about what goes into each and every meal for the resident animals at Busch Gardens. Heidi Bissell is a zoo nutritionist and is one of only about 20 people in the world who specialize in the daily diets of animals. She carefully plans out the meals to make sure each animal is getting the right nutrients to stay healthy. But like people, not all animals like the same foods.
So we're going to make two sloth diets today. One is Mario and one is Harry. And Mario likes different things, so he's going to have different things in his diet. Now, at the end of the day, the nutrient composition of these are going to be very similar, but we got there by two different ways. So there's two different sets of ingredients that we're going to put into there.
Mario, the sloth, is going to get leaf eater something.
Yep, leaf eater biscuits, that's these.
Okay, and he's going to get romaine lettuce and spring lettuce, green beans, and a hard-boiled egg.
Yep, half of a hard-boiled egg.
And a combination of cucumber, pear, mango, and carrot. That sounds
Exactly.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Let's do it.
sloths are herbivores. They eat plants, and they actually, like many other herbivores, they use bacteria to help digest those plants. So they have a stomach that's really big, and it houses bacteria, and these are good bacteria. And they hold on to the leafy green things that they eat, typically leaves, and they ferment that. And that fermentation makes fatty acids, all sorts of different vitamins, different things that these guys depend on to stay alive. These leaf eater biscuits are a high fiber biscuit that mimics the nutrient composition of leaves. The other thing with sloths is they like to hold their food and eat it, kind of like a kid with an ice cream cone. Mm-hmm. So we like to cut their food in long strips so that they can have like sticks to hold on to. So some of these things, like the green beans, they already come in that form. Yeah. We don't have to do anything to the green beans.
That's an easy one.
And the leaves are fine, just as the leaves. This is spring mix. And the biscuits are already kind of like that. But the mango, if you would like to put on a cutting glove and chop that into strips, and pear and cucumber.
And you want the pear in strips too?
Yep, just long.
So we want, like
yep.
so?
You
Is
can
that
do
too thin?
You can do a little fatter so that he's, yeah, just like that.
Okay.
Perfect. I think you'll like that.
Well, we aim to please here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do the same for the
Same
cucumber.
thing for the cukes?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, so what do we do next?
Yeah, so let's just put everything in the bowl.
Just throw it in?
Yep, you can just throw it in. Here, I'm going to throw in some of these things. So we've got Mario's diet ready.
Okay.
And now we're ready for Harry.
So today, Harry is going to have the gluten-free diet. He's going to have green beans, fresh spinach, romaine lettuce, zucchini, carrot, and papaya.
There we go.
All right.
So this is actually, feel this, it's like a Jell-O. So it's a soft diet, and it's a gel diet.
Okay.
So the joy of that is, unlike these biscuits from Mario's diet, we can't really change these. These are like your cat or your dog food or even a breakfast cereal. Like, they're in the flavor that they're in and they're in the shape that they're in. With these gel diets, we can mix in other flavors, or we can make them with different amounts of water. So for Harry, we've got a little bit of chopping to do. The green beans, again, now you can see Harry really likes his green beans. We've got a lot of green beans in Harry's diet.
So after some more chopping, our second sloth meal is just about ready to go.
Okay. Putting that in there. And then the lettuce he'll actually eat whole. So, he can just hold that in his hand and eat that. So we can just put that in there.
And what about this?
Oh, you can add that in too.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
So Heidi, we've talked a lot about the ingredients and the right portions. Why is this so important? I mean, these are wild animals. Why is it important?
Well, it's important because it all has to work together to balance the nutrients that they need. So the diet has to include all the different things that we use for training and enrichment. When it's balanced, then it has the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbohydrates. Everything that they need will be in there, and that'll help keep them happy and healthy as long as possible.
Now, these are some of the ingredients that we don't normally see.
No. These are a little different than you might find in a human kitchen. So these worms, they're actually fed a special diet. Worms don't have bones, so they don't have a lot of calcium. And when we feed worms to some of our animals, they might become calcium deficient. So what we actually do is we feed these worms a high calcium diet, and that stays in their bellies. And then when the birds eat the worms, they'll get all the calcium in there, and so that'll make them a more complete diet for them.
So you're really helping nature.
Yeah.
Coming up,
Where is our dinner guest?
We are ready for Oli.
Oh, here he is.
the lunch rush continues as we prepare a meal for Oli, an armadillo.
After the break, we're back in the kitchen at Busch Gardens, where we see why the staff is actually encouraging these animals to play with their food.
Busch Gardens offers visitors an opportunity to get up close to some rare and endangered animals as a way to raise awareness of the species. Making sure their residents eat a healthy, balanced diet is one way they are helping global conservation efforts to save these animals.
You know, keeping these animals as healthy as possible is a really important part of making sure that they breed successfully in captivity. Many of our animals are endangered species that are really rare, and this is one way that we're helping sustain them and that population of animals. And we don't just make sure that our animals get great diets. I mean, that's important. But I also research what is in the diet and is it working for our animals? And maybe we might make a change, and if that change really results in improved animal health, then I'll publish that, share it with other zoos, and we'll improve the health of animals at other zoos as well.
We know that nutrition is important to keep these animals healthy. Normally these guys would be hunting or foraging for their meals, but here at the park, they're treated to a full-service dining experience. Let's check in with some of the Busch Gardens chefs.
After preparing lunch for the sloths Mario and Harry, it was time for another lesson in the Busch Gardens kitchen.
We are going to make dinner for Oli. He's a 3-banded armadillo.
Okay.
And he is an insectivore.
Zoo nutritionist Heidi Bissell walks us through the different components of Oli's meal, specifically kiwi.
Kiwi are a great source of vitamin C, and we're starting to think that animals like armadillos might need additional vitamin C, so we want to be sure to include, so every day he gets a high vitamin C item, such as kiwi or strawberries or oranges. We have some little frozen vegetables. I mean, they're not frozen anymore, but corn and carrots and peas.
And green beans.
And green beans.
Yeah.
And this is an insectivore diet, so it's a little bit like a dry dog food in the sense that it's a pellet, but it's got extra fiber in it to sort of mimic the skeleton of insects, the outer exoskeleton that acts a lot like fiber. So this is made for insect-eating animals like armadillos.
Okay.
Then he's got a little bit of fruit.
Looks like grapes and apple.
Grapes, apple, I think there's some papaya, and also a little bit of kiwi in there. We've got some waxworms.
Oh, how
Yeah.
lovely. They're moving.
They're moving, they're alive and wiggly.
They're alive.
They're the best kind.
But before we begin to assemble this variety of food, there's one more thing on the table that Heidi points out.
And we're also going to make it interesting for him, because he's a smart animal, so we want to make it sort of fun for him. But if you've ever seen armadillos in the wild, they snuffle around in the leaves and forage for things. So we're going to set this up so that he can do that here. So we're going to give him leaves, and we're going to hide his food in the leaves.
Okay.
And then we're going to bring him out and let him...
Now you prepare this on this dish.
Yes.
But in actuality, what are you going to do? Just throw it out?
He's got a big exhibit, and so we might hide it in different things. There's hay in there, and we can stash it around, or we might do something like leaves.
The idea of hiding Oli's food is known as environmental enrichment. It's a way to help stimulate behaviors specific to their own species. It's up to the zookeepers to come up with innovative ways to hide the next meal, so the animals will have to be creative when they're hungry and ready to eat.
So would you like to make Oli's diet for him?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I will leave this to your creative discretion. So anything that you want to do to make it fun for Oli, go right ahead.
Well, I think we should start, of course, with the leaves and spread those around. Now, the kiwi, you don't have much in the kiwi, do you?
Not much.
So we'll just kind of
He's
put
also
one.
a very small animal.
Yeah? Okay, well, then he just gets a little taster of it. Now, this should be very good for him, his vegetables.
Yep. Got to get all your veggies in there.
Yep. It's getting to look quite pretty, actually.
Yeah.
After adding the insectivore diet and the mixed fruit, it's time to add in perhaps Oli's favorite part of the meal, worms.
That's great. I
And he
think
really has to have those, huh?
he really does have to have
Well,
those. I think
then let's dig in.
you're doing
Okay.
a great job of that.
All right. So, in they go. One got away.
Oh, yeah. Make sure he gets them all.
Okay, so now though, I have things kind of spread around for him.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he,
And
going,
you know how
is he going to like my arrangement?
I think he is. You know how armadillos like to dig around in leaf
Yeah,
litter
they're
and
diggers.
find food. So I think this will be perfect for him. If you want to add more leaves, you can make it a little more of a challenge, or we can go with that.
With his meal on the table, it's time to bring out the guest of honor.
Where
We
is
are
our dinner guest?
we are ready for Oli.
Oh, here he is. Sweetheart. Yes? No? He's going to go right into the food.
There he is.
Okay.
So let's see what he eats first. First thing was a waxworm. Second
He's
thing was a
eating the
waxworm.
worm.
You
Yes,
can
he's
tell what
eating
his
the
favorite
worms.
food
Yes.
is.
As Ole munched away on his dinner, we found out a little more about our little armored friend.
And actually, three-banded armadillos are really cool because they actually can roll completely up into a perfect circle, just about, like their head tucks in. When he's finished eating, maybe he can demonstrate that. But, you know, they tuck so completely in that they are very protected.
Now, he's a very neat eater.
He is.
He's a quiet eater. Are there any teeth involved in that?
He doesn't have much in the way of front teeth. He does have a few in the back for chewing up his food.
And what is the basic role that an armadillo plays in our ecosystem?
So they're actually called detritivores or omnivores. They sort of eat a little bit of everything that's out there in the leaf litter, and they'll stir things up, and they kind of take care of eating a lot of the things that are around on the forest floor.
Animal care specialist Trevor Sewage says Ole's nose does most of the work when it comes to scavenging for dinner.
Smelly. Does he have a keen sense of smell?
He does. He absolutely does. You can see his little nose moving a mile a minute. I'll turn him around so you guys can see him again real fast. That nose is almost sort of like a pig's nose, very good for helping him to root around. As you all were talking about earlier, helping to kind of root underneath the leaves, that nose gives him a phenomenal way to track down all sorts of insects and any other little snacks that he might be looking for as well, too.
What would you say his strongest sense is? Because those ears are not exactly small.
You know,
so
probably
he's
a
hearing quite
combination-
well.
Probably a combination of his smell as well as his sense of hearing. Doesn't really rely upon his eyesight all that much.
Meanwhile, Ole has found the last of the worms, but refuses to give up on getting just one more of those tasty treats.
There's no more worms in there, buddy. I know you think there are.
I wonder if that was the bowl that had the worms in
It
it.
probably
Probably
was.
was. He's
licking
going
it.
after it.
Yup.
Cute
We
little
can scoot
pink
it
tongue.
over here if you want. That way we might be able to see that tongue a little bit better. There we go. Come here, buddy. I'm going to reach across and bring you back on over. There we go.
Well, he certainly has a personality, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. He really loves his food too, and sometimes after he eats, he'll just end up stretching out and falling asleep in his food. So he's a little too spoiled at Busch Gardens. He knows he doesn't have to worry about any predators or anything like that at all. So rather than curl up to sleep like they normally do for protection, oftentimes he'll just stretch himself out and then relax on his plate. All right, buddy. I'll let him head on back home
we
then.
did real well with you. It's good to see you, Allie. Hope you had a good dinner.
I think he did.
Okay.
Definitely enjoyed your cooking. Thank you so much for making that food. for
My
him.
pleasure. The worms were my delicacy, yes.
Well, Ole here is a very, very unique animal in the sense that for his size, he lives much longer than most smaller animals would. A lot of smaller mammals, you'd expect a lifespan of maybe 10, 15 years, but in managed care, these armadillos can hit almost 30 years. That's in large part thanks to the care of great workers like our nutritionist, Ms. Heidi over there, Dr. Heidi, and of course also our veterinary staff here at the park too, coming up with phenomenal diets for them, great forms of enrichment to really get them excited and acting, behaving as they would out in the wild, and of course they don't really have to worry about predators.
We'll be right back with more animal outtakes from Busch Gardens.
If taking your pet to the veterinarian creates conflicts in your busy schedule, Rosemary Vet may be a perfect solution. We are open 7 days a week, providing complete veterinary care during convenient evening and weekend hours to accommodate you and your pet. Rosemary Vet is located in downtown Sarasota in the trendy Rosemary District at 650 Central Avenue, Unit 2. To learn more, visit us at www.rosemaryvet.com.
really designed to look for food underneath the leaves and constantly be digging around and foraging, just as he was kind of doing in that bowls a second ago, using those hooks to actually hold on tight and then pull off the sides of ant and termite mounds that he might find. This shell, as tough as it is, he can feel every time we're touching.
Can he feel when I'm tapping him here?
He has keratinized skin, just like your fingernails are made out of, but underneath that there's solid bony plates, and it helps to keep him nice and safe from predators. So that way, if a jaguar or another predator is trying to break inside of his shell, he just curls up and he essentially waits it out.
That's it for this episode of Animal Outtakes, and we hope that you've enjoyed our nutrition exploration at Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida. A good diet is important to keep animals happy and healthy, no matter the species or the size. Join us again next week for another outstanding animal adventure. See you then. I was better with the giraffe. Trust me, I'm looking at these worms. Ah!
And then these are super worms.
How's my co-host doing?
Just checking it out.
Okay. We'll be right back with more Animal Outtakes from Busch Gardens. What? Sorry. I'm having fun here.
Conservationists believe that seeing animals up close and personal helps to raise awareness of the species.